Kenneth Witt, and welcome to Gun Dog Nation. Gun Dog Nation is much more than a podcast. It's a movement to build a community of people around the world that like to watch a well-trained dog do what it's bred to do. Also, we want to get our youth involved into the sport of gun dogs, whether it be hunting, sport, or competition. We want to build a community of people united to preserve our gun dog heritage and to be better gun dog owners. Tune in to each weekly episode and learn about training, dog health, wellness, and nutrition. We will also offer tips for hunting with dogs and for competition, hunt tests, field trials, and other dog sports that involve gun dogs. Please go to our website, gundognation.com, and subscribe to our email list. We will keep you informed weekly with podcasts that are coming out. We also will be providing newsletters with training tips and health tips for your dog. You can also go to patreon.com/gundognation and become a member. There's different levels of membership on there. Just go check that out. Also, we'd like to thank Sean Brock for providing the music for this show. The introduction and the outro is Sean Brock. He played everything on there except the banjo by Scott Vestal and the dobro by Jerry Douglas. Sean is a neighbor of mine from over in Harlan, Kentucky. I'm just across the mountain in Hyden, Kentucky, and he's a super talented guy. But most of all, I want you guys to check out the Creekers. They are also from Hyden, Kentucky, and this is an up-and-coming bluegrass and country band, and these guys are hot. They're all over TikTok and YouTube. You will hear these guys because in a year or so, they will be on the radio. They are very talented. Their videos are going viral on the net. These boys are family. Two of the lead singers, one grew up with my daughters, and the other one is my cousin's son, so he's family. But check them out. Check out the Creekers. Also, last but not least, if you want to buy a hat, koozie, t-shirt, or even gun dog supplies, go to shopgundognation.com and you can purchase any of those items. Thank you so much for listening. It's a privilege to have people that want to put up with me talking about dogs all the time. I actually enjoy what I do, and I'm so glad to have this opportunity, and thank you. Hey, it's Kenneth Witt with the Gun Dog Nation podcast. Welcome back. Today, I'm coming to you from a different location. I'm in Red Lodge, Montana, talking to a guy that I kind of envy his lifestyle, and he's got some interesting stuff that we're going to talk about today. And ironically, I had his mother here on the podcast a few things back, and she's very popular herself, Summer Reynolds Dog and Hunting Supply. But this is her son, Roe. Roe guides hunts. He has ran all kinds of hounds. We're going to talk about it. He and I, we're going to have fun on this. So, Roe, tell everybody who you are and what you do for a living.
Well, I'm Roe Reynolds. Summer is my mom, like you said. Since I graduated high school in 2018, I've guided out west in Idaho with black bears, with dogs, and we've also done some lion hunts. And then I just recently got my Alaskan's guide's license, so I've been 2 years up there, I guess what you would call apprenticing as a packer, hunting coastal brown bear and moose. So I've done that. And then really my real job is I build spec houses. So that's kind of how I get it to all work out where I have enough free time, to be able to go do the fun stuff.
So how does a man from Arkansas end up guiding up in the way northeast?
So when I graduated, I was big time coon hunter. My last 3 years of high school, I hunted every night, to the point like I would sleep in the lunch, like during lunch break in high school, I'd slip off to the counselor's office and lay on her couch and sleep because I'd be out all night. But whenever I graduated, Mom booked a bear hunt with dogs because I always said that's something I want to do. It's like my graduation present. Well, we got up there and kind of befriended the guys that was running the outfit, and they had a young guy there the whole time, and he was just kind of jockeying people around, hauling hunters around. I was like, yeah, if y'all ever need any help, I'd love to come up there. Well, the next year they called, and I went up there and just kind of packed for them, which packing for them turned into now I'm driving a side-by-side, hauling a hunter, which turned into, well, now we've got 15 extra dogs the next year, which turned into, okay, this is your pack of dogs, and then turned into helping Joey and Rosa with their kids, which it's almost like I have a second family up there, really. And I don't know, just accidentally fell into it, really.
I envy you. I do. I'm a landman, Ro, and I do that to kind of afford to do what I'm not a guy, but I'm hunting all.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've done this. So I've been up here for about 6 weeks hunting in different states. So
Yeah.
You sounds like you got the bug, maybe worse than me.
Yeah, it's bad. It's funny. Dad's always said, "When is enough enough?" And I'm like, well, my tags ain't enough, so I got to get somebody else to go just to be a part of it. We have a lot of fun. We were killing in the prime. We were doing 22 in the spring and 22 in the fall. So you just want to say we're harvesting 44 bear a year, and probably looking at another 30 in the spring and the fall we don't actually get killed. Go in and look at them. They're young or have a sow with cubs. That's one good thing about bear hunting with hounds that a lot of people don't realize is I can walk into most of the time people that are going on a bear hunt with dogs. They've never killed a bear. They've been to Canada and hunted bait, and either there wasn't a good enough hunter or the cards just didn't fall the right way. But I'm not saying it's guaranteed. But the good thing about dogs is somebody like me or your guide or whoever who's very experienced. I mean, I've probably skinned over 100 bear, and probably seen, I don't know, you can do the math, 44 a year times 5, whatever that is, more than that. If we walk into a tree, I can tell you, okay, well, that's a sow, which every once in a while you'll miss a sow or a boar, but that's with anything. I can tell you, if she's got cubs. If she's got cubs and they're not in the tree with her, you can tell if she's lactating and all those things. And you can also sit back and instead of it being a really intense situation, now there is times where it can be an intense situation, but that's with anything. We can set a kid down, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid. This is the first bear they've ever seen. Instead of them having to make a snap reaction out of a stand or out of a blind or something, we can sit down and we can look at this bear. And I've done it with a bunch of kids. Sit down and I carry a Ruger 5.7 pistol, and I got a green laser on it, and I'll sit there. All right, Fred, or whatever your kid's name is, and I'll draw that laser down on where I want him to shoot. And you could put him in sticks. You can, put him with a good brace and just really probably make the most ethical shot that you can make and be 100% certain of what you're harvesting. Where a lot of times, you know how it is, the heat of the moment, you shoot a deer and it's 140 inches, and then you get up there to him and he's 65 inches. You can take that out. So you're able to harvest more mature, or even in a problem bear scenario, if you have a bear that you're having trouble with, you can really dumb it down, I guess is the best way to explain it. And the same way with mines.
Now, when you're doing that, Ro, what's and I don't know if you guys are different. I've never hunted bear with dogs. I've bow hunted in Canada, but the guys I talked to in New Mexico, I was up there. I've used some guides for, I guess, antelope and elk, but they do it all, mountain lion bear too. And I'm always, being a dog guy, wanting to know, hey, man, what are y'all running? And it's funny, Ro, they tell me, I don't know. It might have this in it, that in it. And they honestly don't know.
Yeah, and that's
so many dogs. So tell me about that, and tell me what you guys do.
So that's one thing that I'm the same as you, in the coon hunting world, everybody, well, I've got a coma bred dog or a legend bred dog. And, they know the paperwork, and a lot of guys are just big into how stuff is bred. Well, you get up into that part of the world, it's a whole different ball game. And I haven't put a finger on why, but even those guys that are, let's say they've got 15 head and they raise a litter of puppies, one out of that litter is going to suit them. Well, they'll spay or neuter that dog before they sell it, which doesn't really make no sense because there's no paperwork on what it is, but they know what it is, and everybody kind of knows what everybody's stuff is, but nobody really talks about it. A lot of I would say quarter hound as in tree dog, and then breed it a lot back to like a coyote dog or even a trig, and maybe even some blue ticks. I mean, Joey, he had mainly plots. He had his own line of plots that goes back to his his grandpa's stuff from way back in the day. And then you got Mike Stockton. I've hunted with him 5-6 years, and he's kind of got his own line of stuff. Everybody's kind of got their own stuff, and nobody really knows what it is. I guess that's the best way. The best way to explain it.
It's funny, and I know you and I have similar backgrounds in a little bit anyway, and that's just odd to me, isn't it? I mean, you're either a blue tick man or red bone man, or
No, yeah. The first time I walked into a tree, and it was kind of one of those. We was running a big nasty bear down a canyon, and next thing you know, we got 4 guys that's all dumped to it, and we got 30 head on one bait. When you get down there and you finally get him killed, and you get to looking around, okay, well, there's a blue tick, and then there's 5 plots, and okay, here's something that it's colored up like a cur, but you really don't know what it is, and you look around and it's just like a melting pot of all kinds of different. Yeah. Okay, this one looks like a bird dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty crazy. I had a podcast that I actually lost that the series, the whole thing, we lost it in production, and I never did redo it. But anyway, that guy was from up in New Mexico, and he's the only person I've ever talked to in the bear and mountain lion dog world that he ran blue ticks.
Yep.
And I thought that was unique. I never heard anybody tell me that. Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gundog Nation, and I've got to tell you guys about something that I've gotten hooked on lately. It's Faux-licious. These are gourmet instant pho and ramen bowls that actually taste like the real deal. When I'm out in the field all day and the last thing I want is to settle for bland camp food, Faux-licious is what I go to. It's authentic, the flavor, it's real ingredients, it's ready in just minutes. It's perfect for hunters, fishermen, or anyone on the go. And you can get them over 1,900 Walmarts nationwide, your local HEB here in Texas, or you can just go online at faux-licious.com. Trust me, once you try it, you'll keep a few stocked in your bag, in your backpack, or for your next adventure. I just want to say this, I want to add this to this commercial, because I know the owners of this company. They've hunted on my ranch. Joseph, he and I were actually met in Colorado on a hunting trip that was a real adventure. They are true hunters. They've hunted at the ranch, and I've hunted with them. And Anna, she is just amazing. She is the one that came up with this idea. They were both on Shark Tank. They are amazing people. So I love seeing people like this have a business. And I just had to say that in addition to the commercial, because I really believe in the product and I believe in the people that made the product. Be sure and go to faux-licious.com or go to Walmart or HEB and try their product. I promise you will like it.
Yeah, up there where we're at, it's big country. I've been fortunate enough. I know it. I spent enough time up there. I know that country like I know the country around here, all the little side-by-side roads and stuff. And I know a lot of the locals. But I didn't run into very many hound hunters. And I will say the ones that I did run into, and I'm not knocking anybody, and you know how it is in the dog world, it's almost like they're, in the most respectful way, you would see them and they'd have a pack of dogs, and this sounds bad, but it just looked like they had junk. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just thrown together. But, I cut my teeth in the bear world with guys that was their livelihood. They had to, we got to kill this many bears to keep booking these hunters, every year. So they took it serious, which I'm a pretty hardcore hunter. And if I'm going to get up and go, we're going to do it. We ain't going to play. But yeah, a lot of guys, it's different everywhere, but the guys that I was with, Back 30 Outfitters, which before that was Regear Outfitters, they took it serious, and I mean they have to. It's their job.
Well, let's walk me through it, bro. Like, how does it work? Do you guys, are you scouting in advance before your hunters come? You know areas where the bears are. Tell me how it works. If I want to book a hunt with you, and you're going to take me out.
Well, okay. So it depends if we're going to do a spring or a fall hunt. A spring hunt, your bears are coming out of hibernation, and when they come out, they got to get what we call getting their gut right. So they're going to eat a lot of grass and stuff like that. Well, then we'll have a bunch of baits set out, kind of like if you're baiting deer. So we'll go in once a week, every 3 days, bait it, re-grease it. Well, we'll put these baits out either uphill or downhill the road from like the side by side trail. And then what we'll do is come through there and we'll rig the dogs past it. So I'm sure you know what rigging is, but for anybody that doesn't, it's where you got your dogs tied up and they can wind one when you go by. So we'll come by this bait, first thing in the morning. And a lot of times I'll take a pack of dogs on one side of the canyon to one bait, and Mike will take a pack of dogs on the other side of the canyon to another bait, and either he'll hit, get it up and going. Well, they always go down. And then I can dump to it or whatever. But let's say if you don't do that, you'll get out and walk into the bait and you'll take one or two colder nosed dogs and see if they can trail it up and get him jumped. Now that's in the spring. So in the fall, all of the fruit comes on in the fall, and it's pretty cool to look at. There'll be just wild orchards, and you'll just be driving and there'll be 25 apple trees, and you just look like Granny Smith apples hanging off, and you can eat. I mean, it's just like the ones you get at the grocery store. So we'll hunt a lot of those apple orchards, which in turn is the same thing as what we do in the spring, but it's natural food. So all this food grows at different elevations. So when the plums and the apples come on, all the game comes out of the high country and comes down. The bears come down to the low country because that's where all their food is. Plus, the winters are not as hard on them down there, so they'll keg up and hibernate down there. So we'll rig around and rig through these plum orchards and patches of snowberries and apples, and do the same thing. Just wait on the box to blow up, and then heat it. It gets up middle of the day and you ain't got nothing going. You can always find a big dark hole where the spring, water running through there, and walk off in there and get one started. Just kind of land on him. But it's a good
treeing? Are the bears treeing? Are they going up a tree?
Mostly? Yeah, I would say 85% of your bears tree.
Okay.
And one reason that they might not tree is, they're just a slob. 2 years ago, we killed one on the ground that was Boone and Crockett, and that's fun. It's intense, kind of like hog hunting with dogs, except you don't have any catch dogs. But if you get to catching the same bear 3 or 4 times, a bear of size, eventually they're like, well, they ain't going to hurt me, so I ain't going to go up this tree. Well, then you'll wear them down, or they'll run your dogs out. So, yeah, but 90% of the time, 90% of the time, you're putting them on a limb, and then you can really see, what the game is and make your decision from there.
Are any of those dogs so gritty that they're kind of like a catch dog on a hog?
Yeah, so that's one thing. That's why they have to breed. They can't run a straight coyote hound. Because, you take a Krogan bred dog, something that's just it's meant to catch, it's bred to catch and kill. You throw them on a 430-pound black bear or a 400-pound black bear, and 4 of them run in there and just try to dogpile him, they're fixing to be going to the vet. So they got to have a little bit of standoff. Plus, they have to have the tree dog in them to actually sit down and tree, which is funny because those dogs, they're just not really bred to tree. But when you put 10, 15 head in there, they don't have to tree real hard if there's that many of them. They're sitting there. Most of the time, the bears, when they put him on the tree, he runs up the first limb 8-10 foot off the ground, and they're sitting there looking at him.
Do y'all have to be kind of strategic in your pack? Do you need a fast dog, a baying dog, a more gritty dog? Do you try to mix it up, or are they all the same? Man,
I'll tell you, you don't want one that can't do it all, because that's your weak link.
Okay.
And
they'll go. What is everything that you want out of a bear dog?
Well, you need speed. You need cold nose. You need you can get by with one good rig dog, which is your strike dog off the box. A big deal in the bear world is they'll get what they call bear whipped, which they might be the fastest dog in the pack. But if they get up there and get swatted in the head the first time by a bear and it scares them, instead of making them mad, they're going to be in the back of the pack the rest of the time. Well, you're just, at that point, you're feeding one that is not really doing you anything, and you're just hauling him around. You just got to have one that'll get hooked and stay hooked and have the heart to go on a 2-hour bay, because there's times, they'll get bait and you can't get there if they're in a bad spot.
When those dogs are rigged up, Roe, and you're driving, you're trying to wind a bear, I assume, right? That's why they're rigged up. Are there certain breeds that you've noticed has a better nose than others, or
You know
mixes?
what? It's mainly everything that we've used as a rig dog has always been bred back walker of some sort, whether it's tree dog or running hound. I did tote about a 9-year-old blue tick one year. He was the slowest dog. I mean, he'd strike off a box and you turn him loose, and I'd beat him to the tree when they got it caught. But he was an honest dog.
Yeah.
He would get the track started and get the bear up on his feet, and then all the young dogs would come in behind him and finish the deal off. Most time there was actually a time I think we had the bear dead and was working on skinning it when the blue tick finally got there. But
That'd be about like me in the woods.
yeah.
Now, you guys, y'all, I know you're an outfitter up there and everything. I've actually bear hunted in northern Idaho. Didn't have any success, but about 10 years ago, actually. Do you run mountain lion hunts up there too?
Yeah, I actually I haven't done any lion hunts with them. Have I went up there and killed a lion? Yes, I killed a lion up in that part of the world. But we use the same dogs to lion hunt as we do bear hunt. So a lot of times in the spring, your spring bear, you're coming off of your lion season. Well, they can use the same dogs because when you're trying to kill your lions, your bears is all denned up. Now, you'll catch a bear here and there that comes out on a warm day, but it's usually always in the snow. So you'll come into your spring bear season, and usually that first week you'll catch 1 or 2 lions. But that's just because what those dogs are so, they've been catching lions for 3 or 4 months. I've seen a bunch of lions. I say a bunch, probably 8 or so, 9 or so. They're pretty cool. One big tom. I've seen some cats with kittens. That was pretty cool. And we caught quite a few bobcats. Just kind of bonus game here and there.
So those dogs will kind of dual hunt. They'll run bear and run lion as well.
Yep.
So once you get your license, are we going to see Roe Reynolds outfitting up there? What's going to happen?
No, I don't think I'll be an outfitter. I'd rather just, from what I've learned, I guide in Idaho and I guide in Alaska. And if you're doing it because you like to hunt and you want to get to hunt, you want to be the guide, because the outfitter is doing way too much paperwork.
Amen. Yeah.
So,
I kind of do it myself at my own ranch there. So yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I've got a very small deal, but so you did. I forgot that your mom had mentioned about Alaska. What do you do the same thing there? Same type of guiding?
We don't use dogs, but we do coastal brown bears and moose. And we're in Dillingham.
How do you hunt those?
A lot of glassing and spotting and stalking. In the fall, when we go up to do the bear hunt, the sockeye are running up the river. Well, the sockeye run up the river and spawn and die. So essentially what you're doing is you're waiting on the fish to die, because when the fish die, it's like golden corral for bears on the river. There's dead fish everywhere. So you'll go out and see 8-10 brown bears an afternoon. So that's how we're hunting them. And then the moose, it's a lot of, glassing and calling, and it might take 2 or 3 days of calling before you ever even see one. You just got to hope that he's 50 inches. We have to have 50-inch bulls in our unit. But I definitely like bear hunting better than any. I don't think I could ever guide hoofed game. I don't like guiding moose hunts. It's really just two different kind of people hunt different kind of stuff, if that makes sense. I don't know.
It's not enough action, is it?
No. Yeah. There's just something about that first year I went up there. I flew in, and of course they fly us in a bush plane, and they'll dump us out and basically say, see you in 10 days. And we got all of our food. We had 2 tents, Coleman stove, Yeti cooler with all of our food in it. It was already pre-froze. But we actually had to run 2 strands of hot wire on D batteries to keep the bears out. And you'd be laying there at night and you'd hear, of course, we're on like a gravel bar, coming down through there, and then you'd hear him hit that wire and start and run off. But yeah, it's an eerie feeling when there's nothing but you and a tent in between. Yeah. And 2 pieces of hot wire. But it's a good time. It's dangerous.
You feel like the hunted yourself, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You don't realize, I mean, it's like everybody always says, man, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I said, well, yeah. I said, it's a job. And if you like to hunt, it ain't that bad. But I'll tell you what it is. You have to be as mentally strong as you can possibly be. Because there ain't no, I think I want to go home. When you're there till they come get you. We was in 22 days last year. And that's 22 days, no shower, 22 days, no water. I mean, and there's no, I think I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'll go home, take a shower, and come back. No, you're hung till it's over with. And you've got a guy sitting there that's paid a very large sum of money to come on this hunt. And I mean, most time that's a once in a lifetime deal for those guys. And you want to try to make it the most for them, go completely over the top. But it kind of can get monotonous, especially on the moose hunting deal.
No internet.
Oh yeah, no phone service, no nothing.
That's a lot of dude wipes, ain't it? 22 days.
I tell you, yeah, they quit working after about day 11.
Yeah, dang, man. Oh man. No, I've hunted a little bit of hardcore stuff. That's different.
Yeah, it's
and like you said, Ro, about guiding and how it's a job. I just hunted in Montana the last 6 days with these guys, friends of mine from Texas, and they're do-it-yourself duck hunters. Well, I've been kind of spoiled. I'm not an expert duck hunter, even close.
Right.
And I'm learning, but I've always been to an outfitter. So guys like you, set up the decoys and do all the dirty work, and I just go sit down and shoot. Well, I was that guy. We had to do all that, and,
yeah.
Man, I mean, I'm 57. I was killed, wore out. And of course, we had one young 25-year-old guy with us, thank God, But hey, man, it's a lot of work, isn't it?
Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gundog Nation. Many people quickly become frustrated and confused when training the retriever. Cornerstone Gundog Academy's online courses eliminate all the guesswork by giving you a proven training system that will help you train a dog that anyone would be proud to have in their blind. Learn where to start, what to do next, and what to do when problems arise. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com to learn how you can train your retriever. I have used this method myself. I have been through it a couple times with different dogs. I refer back to it lots of times when I'm trying to get dogs freshened back up for hunt test season. I highly recommend them. I have actually been a subscribed member of Cornerstone Gundog Academy since 2016, and I would suggest anyone use it. I highly recommend it. They have an app that you can get to on your phone. You can do it from your phone, your laptop. You can't get any more convenient than that. I've used it. It's proven and tried. And I know literally hundreds of people that have done the same thing that I've talked to. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com and learn how to train your own retriever.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, back to the running of the dogs in Idaho, I had a deal on my phone popped up, and it's 1 year ago today. And it was me in bed, and I'd forgot about it. It was me. I'd woke up, my hair's all sticking all over the place. I'm videoing myself. I say, day 40 of getting up at 3 a.m. to go load dogs. And it's it don't matter what you do. 40 days at 3 a.m, if you take a nap in the middle of the day or not, you're slap wore out.
Yep. That's them guys have me getting up at 4. And yeah. Because we had to get out, and then we'd have to scout at night for the place to duck hunt the next day. They did. Now I didn't do the scouting.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know what to scout for. But no, man, I envy. I know. Well, I envy some of it. I don't envy all of that. I don't think at 22 days I'd be fit to be tied.
Yeah, that's one good thing about it. I've made a lot of relationships with a lot of people from around the world, and even in Idaho, the phone service is so spotty. And when I first went up there, I was 18, 19 years old, and I guess that was the first time I just went somewhere by myself, and I was up there the first time 63 days. But you don't realize how well you get to know somebody until you get them in the truck with you for 5 days, and this is a stranger. He just gets in at 3:30 in the morning, and there's no phone service, and just visiting and talking. And by the end of it, you feel like you've known them your whole life. You know, there's no something there on Facebook or none of that. So it's been beneficial to me. You know, I've got to know a lot of people in a lot of places, and as much as I travel, you know, I got a buddy that lives, well, a couple buddies that live right outside of Vegas, St. George, Utah, I think. And so they'll come down to Vegas if I go to Vegas, and we'll hang out for an afternoon, go to dinner or something, and they'll turn and go back. So, but it's been nice. I've met a lot of really good guys.
Yeah, I bet you've met people from all over the country. That have to be, especially young. How old are you now?
I'm 20, just turned 26.
Okay. Now, I know you're busy. I know y'all build houses there. I know you got the store. I know you got a lot of. You get time to hunt by yourself, any?
Yeah. So, from when bow season around here opens, do not go to looking for me at 4:00 because I'll be in a tree somewhere. Last night we went to the fox pen. I've got 11 head of deer dogs, some half breeds, and a couple big walkers, some Julys. We went to the fox pen last night and ran till about midnight. So I didn't deer hunt yesterday, but I'm getting ready to deer hunt when I can turn my deer dogs loose. So I'm ready.
See, that's something I've never done in my life. You know, in Kentucky we didn't have that. Tell me about that, Ro. What's the law? What's the season? And what do you do when you deer hunt with dogs? So
the season is the same as our standard modern gun rifle season in Arkansas. Everybody around here, out of respect for everybody, we do not turn loose. It opens on Saturday. We won't turn a dog loose until the second Saturday. That gives everybody the first weekend, no dogs in the woods, and all the way to Friday. And then really, if you ain't get him killed by then, you probably ain't going to kill him. Most people are done anyway. Yeah. So, you know, no running on. You can't be turning dogs loose on places you're not supposed to. We're fortunate enough. We live in a small town here, and everybody, it's, you know, running dogs has been a thing that's been around for longer than way longer than I've been around. Because my grandpa had a camp back in the 50s up north of town, and so it's always been a big deal. But we're real fortunate enough. We have a bunch of good guys that we all kind of hunt together. You know, I got dogs. One of my good friends has dogs, and then we all kind of hunt everybody's stuff, if that makes sense. The way the land lays, there's probably 6 or 7 miles. It's basically continuous that we can be on it all the time. So it's honestly probably around 6,000 or 7,000 acres that we can run on, which, you know, and there's a lot of guys that are anti-running dog, and I get it. I like to bow hunt. If I'm hunting 150-inch deer, opening day of deer season, I don't want somebody to back up to my place and dump 9 head of walkers in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there's a difference in turning loose on 40 acres you can hunt and having 5,000 or 6,000 continuous acres you can hunt. You know, you can kind of control it. So basically what we'll do is we'll rally up. Everybody's got CBs in their truck. In the morning, we'll usually meet somewhere and eat, get a biscuit or something, and then just drive around until we see a buck or some does, and we'll turn loose on it. And then, you know, we hunt the same stuff all deer season and for my whole life. So, I mean, we all know where all the crossings are. So we'll all kind of disperse and just try to run one over the top of somebody, which is not as easy as you think. And if you do run one over somebody, it's usually running wide open and you're shooting at him running. So
that's what you do. You're running it towards somebody, towards a shooter, towards a hunter.
No, you're running the deer wherever the deer wants to go, and you got to be smart enough to get in front of him.
Okay. Dang.
So if I turn loose here at the store, if he goes north, there's 25 crossings can pick from, and you got to figure out which one you think he's going to.
So do you have somebody set up those crossings? You still running after it, trying to catch it?
Well, say I'll turn loose, and then I'm going to whatever crossing I think he's going to, and there'll be other people that's already in crossings. Okay. But, you know, once they get past them, everybody's got to regroup and go to the next set of crossings. And, wow, you know, a lot of times, say if you're at Yellowbank Creek and they cross and you can't get him shot or killed, and you're like, well, we need to go up here. we need to go up here to Jeanette's tee, and you take off running wide open. You get up there and you look at your handheld, and he made a 100-yard circle and crossed back where you just come from. Now you're thrown completely out of the race. So it's kind of an art to it. You got to know the way deer move, and you'll learn. You can hunt this area your whole life and get in the truck with me, and we can run dogs for a day, and you'll learn more about where deer cross than you will if you never went hunting out of a stand. And they all cross the same places. You can get after one, and you can run him almost out of the country, and he'll cross in the same place as a deer that you'd get after 6 miles from here. It's like believe it or not, it's like they got their own road system.
That makes sense. I've got to try that one of these days. I've hunted all kinds of stuff, but I've never. When I was going to college, University of Kentucky, I had a friend that was from Alabama, and he lived in a region that they could run dogs. And I thought he was lying to me first time he told me that. And then, it's in Mississippi too, right? In some parts of Mississippi.
Yeah, you can run in Mississippi.
Okay. I need to try that. I need to go.
Come down one weekend. You can ride with me. Do a ride along.
I'll do that. I'll be back in Texas on probably around 1st November. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you were younger, you ran coon dogs a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever compete?
Yeah, I did. Mainly PKC. I can probably count on. I never even made my dog a champion or a Grand Night champion UKC just because I hated UKC so much. But I made Chubbs was his name. I hunted him enough in PKC that I made him a silver champion.
No.
So. And a lot of that I was 18, 19-year-old going to $30 hunts up and down the road around here. So
yeah,
winning at $72 at a time.
At least I do retrievers, so we don't make any money.
That's right. It's probably more honest that way. You start putting money involved, people will get to wanting to cheat.
It does cause American greed can poison a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever run beagles?
Not in competition, but I've had beagles pretty much my whole life. I've got some of my deer dogs are beagles.
Okay.
So,
and I would assume, like I said, I've never run deer dogs, bro. But I used to rabbit hunt pretty heavy and had beagles, and you always try and trash break your beagles from running deer.
mm-hmm.
I guess that you have to let them do one or the other, right? If not, your rabbit dogs will be running deer.
Purina Pro Plan. Here at Gun Dog Nation, we use Purina Pro Plan for our dogs. We actually use the Sport Performance Edition, which is 30% protein and 20% fat, the beef and bison. It contains glucosamine, omega-3s for their joints. It also contains amino acids for muscles and antioxidants. And it also has probiotics. It's guaranteed to have live probiotics in each serving. There's no artificial colors or flavors. We see the difference in our dogs. We see the difference in their coat, their performance, their endurance, and also in recovery. Be sure to use Purina Pro Plan dog food. The reputation speaks for itself. There's a reason that Purina has been around for such a long time. We suggest that you use it, and we are so proud to be sponsored by Purina Dog Food.
Yeah. I don't own any rabbit dog. Well, I say that I've got some deer dogs that'll go run a rabbit when I don't want them to. So I guess I do have rabbit dogs and deer dogs, but no, yeah. I mean, man, everybody's different. It's different kind of in this part of the world because the way the land's cut up, you can get a hold of your stuff pretty easy. But I mean, I'm not going to spend a week spend a bunch of time trying to break my dogs from running a coyote or trying to break my dogs from running a rabbit, because most of the time they'd rather run a deer anyway, and they'll get after that rabbit or get after that deer or coyote, and then the next thing you know, they end up in a thicket, and then they're after a deer.
That makes sense, yeah. They're all going to run to a safe haven.
Yep.
Did you ever fool him with squirrel dogs?
Yeah, never competition hunting, but we've had squirrel dogs pretty much my whole life. Had some really good squirrel dogs.
I'm going to try to put a loop around this because you've worked with hog dogs, bear dogs. I ain't talked about your hog hunting yet, but mountain lion, rabbit, coon, deer. In your opinion, what's the smartest breed you've ever worked with?
Hmm. I don't know. I can't answer that because it's like people. There's real smart people and there's real dumb people.
Yep.
Uh,
And dogs are, you'll have dogs, right? Same litter, be all different.
yeah. I can't honestly answer that. I've never messed with very many retrievers. I tell you, I own a Boykin. He'll be a year old in December, and he's really more of just a companion than anything. I've put him on a couple deer my buddies have shot, and he's done pretty good blood trailing. But I will say, he's pretty intelligent to be as young as he is. I mean, and that's a lot of the bird, the retriever or the bird dog in him. And he's probably the smartest dog I own. But
Okay.
that breed of dogs, they're more bred to have a relationship with their handler, whereas some hounds do. Like I noticed when I was coon hunting real heavy, and I was spending 300 nights a year with my hound. Yeah, we was buddies. I mean, he knew when we got to the house, I didn't even put a leash on him, and he walked in there and stood by the gate, and I took his collar off, and he went in the pen. That's intelligent. But I would say that, and that's not very often that you find a hound or a beagle or something like that. But a lot of it, in my opinion, is because there's not been a lot of time spent with them. They're all pretty smart. I don't know. I can't answer. I couldn't put a finger on what I thought was the smartest, honestly.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I fool with a lot of, bird dog breeds, but I fool with a lot of protection dog breeds. And man, I've had some smart ones. I'm like you, but they're all different. And you're right. It's kind of hounds are bred to be more independent.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike retriever, it's working with you all day. Your hand settling and all that stuff.
Yep.
I talked to you just a second before we got on here, and because I was talking to another guy this week who called me about my podcast, and he was telling me I didn't realize that in Idaho, you being in Idaho a lot, had so many species of grouse. Do you ever upland hunt?
No. And I couldn't even tell you what kind of grouse they got. I do know that I've seen a bunch of them. I've been around a bunch of them, and I've killed them, and we've eaten them up there. I'm just not educated on them. I don't know why. I've never really been big into bird hunting, and it's probably because there's not any quail in this part of the world. Like hear Dad and my grandpa talk. They used to quail hunt, and there was a bunch of quail, but there's not hardly any. I've probably jumped one covey around here in my life, and I'm calling a covey more than two. Yeah. But there's a bunch of grouse up there. I've never hunted them up there. I've never pheasant hunted. I spent a lot of time shooting a shotgun. I used to shoot for USA Shooting. I've been around the world, a bunch of World Cups and all kinds of stuff. And it's weird. It's like when you shoot a shotgun as much as I did, you really don't want to go hunt with a shotgun. I'd rather go shoot big game, hunt big game. So,
well, tell me about that. What's the biggest title you've ever achieved in the shooting competition world?
Man, I don't know. I made in 2017. I went to Moscow, Russia. There's 3 men in the United States that made the open men's team to World Championships. We went and competed there. That was pretty tough. I won second place at nationals. I think it was 2017 or 2018, maybe. That was in Colorado Springs. I've been to Italy probably 5 times to World Cups and World Championships. Been to Seoul, Germany. I was in North Africa 2 years ago at Rabat, Morocco, shot a World Cup there. Been to Switzerland, Austria, Mexico, Canada. I've got to travel a lot.
A 26-year-old man, you've been in more countries than I have, and I was in the military.
Yep, I've definitely covered some ground.
Well, you may have to give me some shooting lessons. I shot a rifle a lot, Army stuff, and I've hunted big game for years. But now I'm a bird hunter. I don't big game hunt as much, and I could use some work on my shotgun.
Yeah, you got the same problem. You got the same problem that I have, but the opposite. See, I can't shoot a rifle hardly at all. But it's because I've trained myself probably 1 million rounds to slap a shotgun trigger. So I get
And I
about
can see
halfway
that.
through my pull, and I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, there it is, whack.
Yep.
And so
I can see
I'm
that
shooting
because I was
laps
trying to aim a shotgun like a rifle and shoot at a bird that's moving, 15 miles an hour. That doesn't really work.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Now, when you're all this and I've got a friend at competition shoots from Dripping Springs. He actually just coached the Texas State High School Championship winners.
Okay.
Do you guys in that shooting world, are you shooting trap or sporting clays, or is it a hybrid?
I'm shooting international trap, so it's Olympic style. It's a underground bunker. You ever been to Kerrville, the shooting range in Kerrville?
Well, no, Joshua Creek's on one I've been to there, that ranch, but not the competition one you're talking about.
So it's Olympic sport. It's not like your single house, one machine stuff. It's a long underground bunker. It's got 15 machines, 5 stations. Targets can vary anywhere from 45 left, 45 degrees right, depending on a bunch of different factors, altitude, humidity. Your targets can fly anywhere from 55 to 80 miles an hour. So you get some real humdingers, and you never know what you're going to get.
Man, I can't imagine it. So, those guys, I've got my friends that shoot there in San Antonio or the Kerrville, the big, I guess it's where they hold the world. It's next week, this weekend.
Oh, that you're talking about San Antonio? Yeah, I think it is. I don't know. To be honest with you, I was so embedded in the shooting for so long that it was just like really nice just to take a step back and don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I bet.
I started shooting a shotgun competitively when I was I guess I was 13. So more than 10 years.
Well, is there a team there in Quitman where you live, or where did you get started at?
Yeah, we had a school team. I just got started with some close friends of mine, shooting a little bit, and then shot some sporting. And then his daughter, Kaylee Browning, she actually went to Tokyo and won a silver medal. So she was in 2012. She was in the Olympic trials. She had a really good shot at making the team. So I'd been shooting with them, and we went out there and kind of watched the trials and all the things. And I'd kind of decided at that point that I wanted to make a run at it. Just kind of went from there. Traveled a bunch, been all over the lower 48 shooting shotgun. But
you put a lot of shells out, ain't you?
Oh yeah, I've shot a bunch. Shot a bunch.
That's pretty cool. I wish I do want to be better. We might talk about that too after the show. So, man, I don't know that I've ever interviewed anybody your age that's done as much as accomplished you have. That's very impressive. It's actually very impressive. And I guess all that stuff, your parents had to be happy to some degree because that keeps you out of trouble, right?
Yeah, that's what. A lot of the reason. I was thinking about this the other day when I bought my coonhound when he was 1.5 years old. I had a guy come to me. He said, "You need to buy this dog." I was hunting another dog. He wasn't no good. He said, "You need to buy this dog. He's going to be something special." I said, "Well, how much do they want for him?" He said, "I think it's $3,500. Well, I was like 15 years old, and I'm like, there ain't no way. I ain't. So I'm like, "Mom, you want to buy half a coon dog with me? How much is it? $3,500. She goes, "Yeah, I'll buy half of it with you, or I'll buy it and you can pay me back or whatever." Okay. I didn't realize then, but she kept me out of more trouble because I hunted the last 3 years I was in high school, even when I got out of high school, with my 70 at the time. I think he's 81 now, with my 70-year-old uncle, and we'd strike out and we might drive and go to a hunt 3 hours away. Well, she knew I wasn't going to get in any trouble running around with my uncle. Yeah. And I get hung up on something. I'd go every night because I don't like to lose and I like to hunt. And you just add the who's going to be a better hunter in there.
Yeah,
it was perfect combination to keep me out of trouble. So yeah, if I ever have a kid, they'll have a hound of some sort. I
think so too. I just interviewed a high school team in Georgia, to my knowledge, that first only high school gun dog team.
Really?
And their teacher, who's a vocational school coach, it's in Walker County, Georgia, right across from Chattanooga on the line.
Yeah.
And they compete with retrievers. Well, they actually use a retriever and a spaniel cocker, and they run a hunt test and train.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And it's getting a real good response at the school. The superintendent, the whole board is backing the program because these kids are doing something that, and it's a lot of kids that didn't even grow up hunting. It's now working these dogs.
When you're getting ready to go on your next hunting trip, make sure you pack the most efficient and reliable ammunition on the market. Migra Ammunition brings you the most diverse loads on the market. Migra's patented stacked load technology is the epitome of efficiency. 2 shot sizes stacked together to create the most diverse and efficient line of shot shells in the industry. It doesn't matter what flyway, what state, or what the weather, the standard remains the same. At Migra, reliable loads that perform in any condition every single time. We're proud to have Migra Ammunition as a sponsor for Gun Dog Nation.
Yeah, that's in the dog world, it's a dying thing. It really is.
Yes.
I can probably count. Well, I'm the only guy in Quitman, Arkansas that's 25 or 26 and younger that's got dogs, in hounds, hunting dogs. But, to hear like my grandpa talk about it, when he was 26, there'd be 10, 15 guys pulled over in the ditch up here at midnight on Friday night, sitting around a burn barrel with running a red fox. That was their Friday night. Well, you don't see that now. I mean, you almost got to hide when you're hunting to keep people from thinking you're stealing something or, but that's just the way the world is now.
And that's one of the purposes of this podcast. I might not be able to make much of an impact, but is to try to get young people involved, let people listen. I've had at least 2 shows with girls, ladies your age that are hunting hardcore and grew up. I don't think any of them grew up hunting.
Really?
They're hardcore, like they're public land, do it yourself, real hunters. And one of them runs a dog test with retrievers. But it's just, we need to get the word out, get people off the couch and away from video games and get outdoors and no matter what breed it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the dog world. And, it's just, I don't know the best way to say it without going down the rabbit hole, but it's, in my opinion, it's the most ethical way to pursue game.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody with a pulse can go sit up against a tree and dump a 5-gallon bucket of corn out and then kill deer in 2 days.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. It's the most fair chase that there is. It's the same as like we were talking about bear. It's fair chase, and then you can be 100% about, what you're actually harvesting. And it's one of the oldest hunting methods in the world, and it's dwindling away.
That's right. And we got to preserve our heritage, and that's something I'm trying to do. I do 2 episodes a week, and I always try to at least do an episode that's, encouraging young people and anybody to get involved in it,
right.
And say, hey, this is fun. I'm just now starting to post videos, and I might ask your advice about that because you're more of age that would know, but, to see people see the fun in what we do, and my videos are all bird hunt stuff, waterfowl, upland. Hey, let me ask you this, and you've been in Arkansas, probably not too far from Stuttgart. I don't know how far.
Yeah.
But you're in the, a duck hunting mega. Do you ever duck hunt much, or do you have time?
Yeah. I'm about really 45 minutes to be in the main flyway. I can be in Stuttgart in an hour and 20 minutes. I like it. I like it when there's birds, but it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. When I was younger, I did, but at the age of 26, I'm not going to go fight a bunch of yahoos over a wood duck and sit in line at the boat ramp for 3 days. I'm not going to do it. If I want to go, I'll book with somebody, or I'll go. And if I'm going to go, I want it to be good. I don't want to go and it just be playing. You know what I mean? I'd rather sit at the house.
And I've heard a lot of stories, bro, on podcasts about Arkansas. Not just Arkansas, maybe in Oklahoma, but these popular public land places, man, you camp out to get in there, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I've been on them. I mean, you see You see all kinds of crazy stuff. They used to have bad boat races down there at Biomeda. Not as, it still happens, but they kind of crack down on it. But I've drove by squirrel hunting or deer hunting the bottoms 2 or 3 days before duck season opens, and there'll be 50 boats, in line to the ramp, and it don't open for 3 days.
Gee.
And I'm like, man, I'm just not that hardcore.
No.
It's, 180-inch deer, if I'm guaranteed, I might sleep there 2 or 3 days. But for me, to stay there 3 days, then have to boat race in there, get all my stuff set up at 3:30 in the morning, and then have some yahoo come set up 85 yards from me and shoot at them treetop high when you're trying to work them, it's not worth going.
Yeah. And calling when you're calling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's, I don't think, I've never witnessed it. And luckily the place I was at was so remote in Montana, you didn't really have to fight over places. But you know what? It won't be long. Even the locals up there said, it won't be long. People will figure it out and start hitting that area too.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, OnX is a great tool. I use it. I use it every day. I use it from hunting to developing subdivisions to building houses, looking at property lines. But stuff like OnX or Landglide, and especially Facebook and these 2 million public land Facebook hunter pages, and I'm not knocking the guys whatsoever, but guys that have YouTube channels like the Hunting Public, all of that is the build-up to what public land is today.
Yeah.
It's great that there's more people getting out there, but I also think that you're getting more people hunting and involved, but you're also jeopardizing your public land because, there's only so much ground. Yeah.
And it's, I'm from the Southeast, born and raised, and we don't have a whole lot of public land. And I'm in Eastern Kentucky, so we don't have ducks, really. Yeah. There's no flyway, right? It's Western Kentucky. But, you get up here like I'm in Montana right now. The good thing about these states, and I'm sure it won't be that way forever, but there's so much public land and so much hunting. Yep. You can actually, the first weekend of duck season up here, I saw people. It wasn't much.
Yeah.
During the week, I don't think I hardly saw a soul.
Yeah.
And then bird hunting, there's places up here. It's kind of neat, bro. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's called a block management plan. So private landowners can participate with the state of Montana, and you just sign a card that morning, drop it in the box, and you hunt that land.
Yeah.
And the purpose of the card is that pays the landowner from the state.
Yep.
So I was like, I drove by it and saw a sign. I'd heard somebody talk about it, but didn't understand it. And we stopped, and I was like, man, what is that? And anyway, so I hunted 4 or 5 of those places.
Yeah.
But I never saw a hunter. You know? And I know it ain't way back home.
Oh no.
When I was 18, I hunted a Redbird Wildlife Management Area in Leslie County, Kentucky, where I'm from.
Okay.
And opening day. Now, I'm a hillbilly, so I can talk this way. I can say this. But if you take a bunch of hillbillies on opening day, and if it's brown, it's down.
Mm-hmm.
And this deer come walking by. We're not allowed to shoot a doe back then. I don't think you can now in the county. But it was a doe. And I had never deer hunted in my life. And I was in there with some buddies from college. We were all from that area, And son, it was like Vietnam. It sounded like a war zone. And people shooting high-powered rifles and it going over your head. I was like, never again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hunt on opening day in here. But, but think about it. You can't all afford to go buy 500 acres.
That's exactly right. Going back to what you were just saying, I was in Missouri this spring, and I was hunting public ground, turkey hunting. And I was hunting around a lake. I'm not going to give you much more information than that because it's a good spot. But I took my boat. Well, I just run around this lake. I stop and listen. Okay, I hear a bird up there. Well, he's up on top of this bluff. So I motor up there underneath him, and he pitches down up on top. I said, oh, man, it's over with. So I come up this bluff, and I get right to the top, and he, pow, just right there 25 yards, right over the – I said, I'm not even going to call. I'm just going to bushwhack him. So I look around, I pull my face mask up, and I get it pulled up, and I realize I have my sunglasses on my hat. So I took them off like this. Of course, this bird has no idea I'm even exist. I set it on a rock. And I'm telling you, I know more than get it set on the rock and grab my gun like this to go ahead and raise it up over and boom. And when it does, I hear whoosh, and the tree right behind me just peppered where them pellets had hit. Well, of course, the turkey's flopping. I can hear him flopping right there in front of me. Well, part of me was like, man, I ought to go up there and talk to the guy. But then again, I'm like, it's probably better off if I just turn and go back off this bluff and don't say nothing because you're liable to get, accidentally shot again if the turkey gets up or something. Yeah. But yeah, it can be very dangerous. And I was probably 5 miles from the boat launch. But, I mean, that guy walked in from a completely different direction. And I know he probably had no idea that I was there. And I know I had no idea he was there. Yeah. But that's what happens when you get a lot of people on public ground, know.
Hello, this is Kenneth Witt, and Gundog Nation is proud to have one of their sponsors as Retriever Training Supply, based in Alabama. Retriever Training Supply offers fast shipping on quality gear. Your dog will love it. Visit retrievertrainingsupply.com to purchase gear to help you train your retriever. Listen, they have some of the best leashes I've ever found. It's stuff's made in America. Their leashes are, and they source them locally. They have anything you want, fast, friendly service, fast shipping, just good people. Retriever Training Supply.
You got to be safe. And turkey season, I think, may be the most dangerous. You're not wearing orange, and you can't load up.
That's exactly right.
And there's been a few. I think there was a guy shot, maybe killed in Clay County, Kentucky, the next county over from me. But
really,
by another hunter, accidentally. Side note, but right out this house I'm staying in here in Montana, I wake up every morning. There's Miriams, and I've killed an Osceola.
Yeah.
And I've killed Eastern Rio. I've never killed a Miriam. They're all around me. They're more huge.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, there's more birds in the western states than I think there'll ever be in the southern states. In my life.
Idaho.
Yeah, there's more birds. There's so many birds. And I think a lot of it is they don't hardly have any coons. They don't have they don't have possums. They don't have a lot of the small varmints that we have, the egg eaters. They got snakes and coons, but I was up there for 5 years, months at a time, and I've probably seen 10 coons in 5 years. You can drive around here and see 10 coons in a night.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a lot of it. And the terrain is so rough. And this is one thing that a lot of people, and me especially, didn't realize until I actually hunted them. Is every time you got to working a bird and got one fired up, you couldn't get to him fast enough because there was a hen and they was doing, what turkeys do. Turkey gobbler gobbles and the hen comes to the gobbler. Well, that's fine around here if the ground's flat, but when you're on a mountain like this, that hen can pitch from 2 miles away and beat you there, and then he's done for 30 minutes an hour before he starts fired up again. But there's a bunch of birds. I've killed some birds up there. I've guided some turkey hunts up there. It's definitely completely different than hunting in the South, I would say. But
you're right.
Have a very, very healthy population of birds.
It is, and there was a little bit of a down year this year for grouse up here, for sharp-tailed grouse. Now, rough grouse seem to do pretty good over in the other states that I hunted, Wisconsin, Minnesota, but they said from hail. If it hails right when they're hatched or right before they hatch, heavy hail will kill them out.
Yeah.
But I see Hungarian partridge here, and I see sharp-tailed grouse and Miriam turkeys here.
Yeah. Yeah. What about y'all? Do y'all have good turkey population down there in Texas where you're at?
I had a ranch for a smaller place in Coleman, Texas, which is kind of right in the center, and it was eat up. Now over my ranch now is in Menard, Fort McCavitt. It's near Junction off of I-10 if you ever been in that country. So I don't know if it's where I'm high fence and my neighbors are high fence. I'll get birds come in and stay 4 or 5 days, and then they're gone. And they'll just, I don't hold them, and I don't feed them either.
Yeah.
But it's not like with the place in Coleman, they just run over you.
Yeah. And I've seen places like that, and different groups of birds it's kind of weird because First of all, they're a very nomadic animal anyway.
Yeah.
But you got some sets of birds that I can take you to a bluff line, and for 25 years, there's been long-bearded turkeys roosted on it in the spring. They may not be in the fall, but they'll be there. And then you can go down the road 10 miles that there's never been a turkey, and there'll be a turkey there one day. And it might not ever be there again. Different. I don't know. It's weird. Some of them move a bunch, and some of them will be on the same pine limb every afternoon. They're very strange.
That area we're in, they're very nomadic. And then this year, I've said this a lot of times on this podcast this year, but this year I had by a white quail, and I'd never seen them there before. I've had this ranch 6 years. But we had a lot of rain. Well, hell, it flooded all down through there. We got flooded too.
Really?
But no damage to my house. My house is up on a ridge. But we got heavy water.
Really?
I think 13 inches one weekend. But no, I agree with you. I think that now that I'm up here in these northern states and western states, seeing a lot more birds, and actually a lot more everything.
Yeah. No, the game is very plentiful up in that part of the world. I've come through there a bunch. I used to drive from Quitman to Idaho, Orofino, Idaho, and it was right at 28 hours. I'd stop in Rapid City as halfway and get a room. And then I actually drove it straight through one time. But, so I've come through there in the middle of the night and got to see all the big muleys on the interstate, Montana, and all the cool things. But
have you ever drawn a wolf tag up there? Or
I have not. There's wolves in that part of the world. I'm pretty sure I seen one time. You ain't going to see a wolf. That's just, you're not going to see one. And now, could it have been a very, very, very large coyote? Absolutely. Did I only have a 22 Magnum pistol? Of course. But I've seen wolf sign quite a bit. Them boys will have the dogs get wolfed, get after a bear, get the bear caught, and they've caught the bear in the middle of a wolf den. Well, a pack of wolves will come in and kill every dog there. And kill them, stretch them for fun, One grab them on the front end, one grab on the back end, and just almost rip them in half. Won't eat them, won't do nothing, and they'll kill every one of them if they can. So that's another thing that the dog guys got to be very careful of, especially if you're an outfitter up there, because that's your livelihood.
Yeah.
You go in, okay, you've got 20 guys coming in the next month to bear hunt, and you get 9 of your 10 dogs killed opening day. I mean, you've got your tail on a crack.
Oh man, them dogs are high dollar.
Oh yeah,
after they're trained, fully finished, I'm sure.
Yep. But no, I've never had a 1,000% that's a wolf, but pretty sure I seen one time. But I've seen a lot of tracks.
Yeah. I actually got to see moose tracks in Minnesota. I've seen moose hunting in Colorado once.
About like that?
But, never had tag. Yeah, it's something. There's no doubt when you see it what it is. But I've glassed them when I was elk hunting, but they were real way off. I've never seen one up close.
Yeah, they're pretty big. Pretty big.
So of all I couldn't get you to tell me what you think's the smartest dog. What's your favorite breed? You've had a lot.
I honestly, probably a tree and walker, just because as far as like a one-on-one relationship that I've ever had with a dog is with my coonhound, and he's a tree and walker. But now, that being said, I've seen some tree and walkers that I wouldn't own.
Yeah.
But that's probably my favorite. You can't hardly beat a tricolor blanket back tree dog, in my opinion.
But I like the looks of them. I was almost ready to get one after I went to Autumn Oaks this year.
Okay.
And when I left there, I had the bug. So I had to talk myself out of it. I'm dog poor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't need another one, but I sure like them though.
Yeah.
I've never owned one. I've coon hunted, but I've never owned coon dogs.
Really?
I did train a squirrel dog to do a hunt,
right.
A tree coon and squirrel bow. That's about it. It was a mountain cur.
Okay.
Now I always like them because they're greedy.
Yep, we've had curs. We've had feist. I will say some of the best deer dogs that we've had was half beagle, half feist, or half cur, which
Yeah.
you give the beagles a little more nose to them, and then you get the athleticism and the speed from the cur side and or the feist side, and they were really kind of special. They had a little old short, had legs, and was brindle color, so they were pretty cool. But
You're talking about having you couldn't have too greedy of a dog for bears; they'll go and basically commit suicide right there.
That's exactly right.
I had a buddy raised the Jag Terriers in Texas, and he said you can't take them hog hunting; they'll kill themselves.
You can believe me or not, I have a video on my phone. Joey carries a Jag with him when we bear hunt, and we stuck about an 80-pounder in a 12-inch culvert one day. And I'm on one side of the road, Joey's on the other, and we're looking at him. Well, he's head first my way, so I'm kind of looking down in the culvert. Well, here comes this Jag, and he just goes in and meets this 80-pound bear face to face and runs that bear out of that culvert backwards into a pack of 9 dogs. Goes out, crosses the road, catch him in a tree. But, yeah, talk about grit. He went in there. Talk about a dog this big, 80-pound bear, right in his face and run him out of the –
I've had two. I swear you can't hardly domesticate them. I mean, they ain't going to sit on your lap and be petted and watch TV.
Exactly.
They're just not wired that way. And they're about wild,
Yeah.
I've never seen grit on an animal like those. No,
Yeah.
And they're consistently like that.
Yeah, and you can stick them on anything.
Yeah.
They just like to fight.
They like it. They've got it. If you put that drive in any other dog, it'd be something.
That's right.
Well, so you're getting your license. You gonna have your own business soon? You're just gonna guide?
No, I'm just gonna guide.
Okay.
That's it's guiding's a job, but you become an outfitter, and then it's really a full-time job. So,
do you have any aspirations to quit your day job? With your build?
No, I couldn't. I'd go in the hole.
You'd starve.
Yeah, I'd starve to death. Yeah.
So I guess you build all during the good weather and the hunting weather. You take off.
Yeah. Well, I don't ever really take off. I'm pretty fortunate. My dad builds too, so I pawn it off on him, or if he's got something going, I'll take care of his stuff. But
okay.
Most of the time, like I've got 3 that are all they like is being cleaned to be completed, and then I'll have them on the market in the next week or 2. So perfect timing coming into the end of October.
Yeah.
Just waiting on the gold for good.
All right. Well, Roe, I know you're busy, and I really appreciate you taking time to get on here. Maybe get you back on sometime. And, heck, we may have to go up there, and I may have to come up there and check you out.
Yeah.
At your side business.
Yeah, we can do it. You need to come up and run some deer dogs with us this November.
I might be able to get over there. I'll be back home. Yeah, first around 3rd or 4th November.
Okay, yeah. Just you got my number. Just give me a holler. We'll get together.
I will. Ro, thank you very much, and you might as well give your mom a plug there. Tell everybody where to buy their dog supplies.
Yeah. Come to Dog and Hunt.
There you go. She's well known. All you do is search that name, you'll pull her up.
That's right.
All right, Ro, thank you so much, and this won't be our last one, I hope.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gun Dog Nation, and I'd like to encourage all you listeners and viewers on our YouTube channel to check out patreon.com/Gundog Nation. For $10 a month, you can become a member of our community, and we'll have access to lots of stuff. Mainly, we'll do a monthly forum, an open forum, where you can ask me anything gun dog related, and we'll learn from each other in the community. Should be a lot of fun each month. We will do that. So check it out, patreon.com/Gundog Nation.